Last time I made a fully automated andesite alloy and gold farm, which worked perfectly, until it didn't. I also had a whole bunch of issues with my new beard power system. I know your chain drives look really nice and everything, Mr. Beardstone, but have you considered using shafts?
I might have to use shafts.
And I discovered that my island has been sinking. It's emergency. There is emergency going on here, leading to quite a lot of my island now being completely underwater, which is not ideal. This time I'll be attempting to resolve all of those problems, but as I've already recorded a whole bunch of distractions, I might not get quite as far as I'd like. And those distractions all start with my base being completely broken, a little bit like it is again now. By the time I was ready to fix my base, Mr. Beardstone had once again actually fixed the power system, so all I had to do was remove all of the packages from my chain conveyors and prevent any more overflows from happening. The main culprit of the issue turned out to be this lever here, which was locking this timer, preventing any of the soul sand that was coming through this system actually being sent back onto the system and stored, which caused problems with promises. What are promises, you might be asking? Well, promises are how these factory gauges work. If we go over to this side here, we want 16 sand sending to Froghaunt, and we should get 16 back in return. That 16 back in return is a promise. So the system knows once it's got that 16 back that it doesn't need to send any more sand in order to generate that much soul sand, if that makes sense. I haven't probably explained it very well. The problem is though, these promises are generally set to do not expire, which I've now set all of them to 3 minutes, because I'm either doing something incredibly wrong or the promise system's broken, but basically it just keeps sending more and more and more and more and more, even though, well, in this case the soul sand wasn't coming back, so the promises weren't being fulfilled. But even when they are, even when the systems are perfectly up and running properly, those promises don't end up getting ticked off, which means it just sends more and more and more. And that's the problem I've got now. Most of these packages will contain cobblestone because it's trying to send cobblestone in order to create the sand and gravel and all of the other things it needs to do. In particular, this one had 2 cobblestone in it because it's using those to craft diorite, and that means it's going over to my crafter, which then crafts the diorite, sends it back through here. That frog puts it back on the line, it goes back to the storage, and it should tick that promise off, but it doesn't, which is annoying. And the only way to clear this mess up is to literally destroy the chain conveyor, have everything fall onto the floor, go around beating all of these packages to death, and then once you've done that, you can put your chain conveyor back on, link it back up with all of the chains, and then you can hope that things can actually start moving. But realistically, I'm actually going to have to remove them from all of these. And it turned out that the lever on my soul sand timer wasn't the only problem. Someone had been to my base and decided to use my saw setup in order to make trapdoors. Now, of course, I've got a factory gauge set up to send a certain amount of logs to that in order to make strip logs so that I can make my andesite casing. But because someone had set this filter on this saw to make trapdoors, it wasn't able to complete any of the strip logs, and therefore we were just getting logs back in the system. None of the promises were being fulfilled, and we had just a ridiculous amount of logs on the line. I should probably turn the speed back up now that we can start fixing this. And while I fix this, I'm going to show you my next distraction, which was actually me doing something useful in order to create things that I need. Let me guess, overstressed? No, it actually works. Jeez, it's working. Oh no, this is going to be a nightmare. Fling! One of the reasons I was automating gold was in order to create an infinite supply of food, specifically golden carrots, which of course meant that I needed a carrot farm, so I built one. It's a relatively small and simple contraption designed specifically to grow enough carrots to supply myself, mainly because I'm not planning on feeding anyone else, and I don't have nearly enough gold coming through, realistically, to even feed myself. Well, it looks like things are moving again. Packages are now able to get into some places. Those ones are just going round and round and round because they all want to go to the same place and can't. But it is slowly clearing itself up. Anyway, now we have a whole bunch of golden carrots. Well, not quite as many as I'd like. We've actually got 83, but that's because it's very, very slow getting gold. You see, the way I'm currently getting gold is to basically get the golden nuggets nuggets from washing soul sand. And because there's only a 2% chance of getting a golden nugget from washing soul sand, that means I need a lot of soul sand to be washed in order to make enough nuggets to make the golden carrots, which is not ideal, and that's why I have an absolutely ridiculous amount of nether quartz. As a result, this has been running for about 3 days now and has generated a total of 83 carrots, although we do have a decent amount of actual carrots now, all being produced from my lovely little carrot farm down here, which just runs occasionally, just topping up my little carrot supply. And all of those just come out of this system here and they go into this vault there, and that all works rather nicely. So with my new carrot system now in place, I was then distracted by Chosen, who came to hand in his IOU.
Hello?
How can I help, sir?
I've devised a fantastic IOU.
Yeah.
And you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Oh yeah,
I know
sure
you have
I will.
you have no idea. You have no idea what it is. So there it is.
Okay.
It's a quick read.
Join Chosen for a chat. Offer good vibes, Joker story, or listening ears. Stay for at least one Minecraft supplement 10 minutes. Yeah, no problem. Let me just get FoxyNoTail for you. Have you got a lead?
What do you mean? A lead?
Yeah, FoxyNoTail is the
this?
is the you know, the person that has signed all of the IOUs. So here he is. And he's ready to take on the IOU.
What?
He's rearing to go.
I've been bamboozled. What do you mean?
Well, can you see the difference in our gamer tags, Chosen?
Oh my goodness.
Who would like to check your IOU or think you'll find it's from this horse? Here you go, horse. Here's a book with instructions. Good luck. Have a nice time. Tell lots of jokes. I'm sure you'll be good at that.
Well, I guess I'll have to make do, won't I? All right. Well, I guess this is fine. I mean, I'm sure FoxyNoTail will provide me a lot of insightful knowledge and company.
I think he might. But Chosen, right? Obviously not right now, but I'd quite like to do that as well at some point. I think that would be nice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll have a nice chat with FoxyNoTail here. I'm sure this will be quite eventful.
It'll be lovely.
I'll be all ears.
Brilliant. And once you've finished with him, can you please return him to his pen, because he's got quite a lot of work to do.
No, so much work.
Yeah.
This poor fella. All right. Well, yeah, I'll be back. I'll take him with me and we'll go watch the sunset together. That'll be kind of nice.
Lovely. All right. Cheers, bud.
Good.
Oh, he likes to be called Horsey.
Horsey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, even though that's not his name, clearly, because his name tag is FoxyNoTail, but he likes to be called Horsey. There you go.
Oh, man.
Bye. Oh, well, that went down without a hitch. Brilliant. And while you were watching that clip, I think I discovered the issue that's stopping my autocrafter from doing autocrafting. I think we'll find that if we look in here, there's a few packages that need to go through, but they can't because this is being blocked here. So this little system where they pop out of there to come through here kind of works, but once it backs up, it doesn't. And that doesn't seem to be following the crafting recipe again either for some reason, which is not ideal. Oh, jeez. It is set to use mechanical crafting, but it don't work, mate. So while I fix this little problem, it's probably time that I show you how I was distracted by doing a lot of tunnel boring, because I needed the resources. Because tunnel boring is decidedly quite boring, I decided to do a whole bunch of it off camera. However, it wasn't quite as boring as I imagined it would be. First of all, after doing a little bit of boring, I decided it would be more efficient to make my rather large tunnel bore rather larger, which meant adding a bunch more drills, and I also added some funnels to eject all of that pesky cobbled deep slate which was clogging up all of my chests, until something happened that I didn't even think was possible. Well, I'm not sure how that happened. There was a creeper in front of it. I thought I could blow the creeper up, but because this was a big entity, it wouldn't have any effect on it, and it turns out it did. Oh, jeez. After patching up the shiny new hole in my tunnel bore, I continued doing boring things, running behind the machine and occasionally pillaring up to grab the diamonds and redstone that the tunnel bore couldn't quite reach, until there were noises. That's 2 shriekers I've set off. Back away. Back away from the shriekers. Oh, there's diamonds over there. There's so many diamonds. Well, I may have just set my 3rd shrieker off. Wardens won't spawn down here, right? No, I don't think so. Everything's fine. With the scary noises seemingly having more bark than bite, I continued on, spraying out more and more cobbled deep slate onto the floor while my chest filled with all of the goodies that I actually wanted, until I realized that the new height of my tunnel bore was chewing through more than just the deep slate. Well, it's finally happening. We are actually going through an ancient city. I'm quite nervous, but at the same time, I'm thinking I might get some good stuff from this. Let's just check and see what's inside our amazing machine, other than loads of diamonds and redstone. Not many ancient city things yet. I'm hoping we might get the odd chest and a bit of swift sneak, maybe. That could be quite nice. It doesn't appear so yet. We have mined a chest. Doesn't appear we got anything out of it, though. We're setting off some sensors. It doesn't appear to be setting off any shriekers, so that's good. And before I start my next bit, I'm just going to have a cheeky fly up there and see if I can't find myself a chest or two. There appears to be one here. Swift sneak one, not really all that much use. So I'm going, and I'm just going to carry on doing this. No, I don't like being up there. No, you just carry on. That was a bit scary. And it did carry on. In fact, it carried on for so long that I had so many resources, I couldn't even get them into my shulker boxes. I got nearly a double chest worth of tuff, plus a shulker and another shulker and another shulker of tuff. And all that's going to be crushed to have a very small chance of getting turned into zinc, because I need brass. I also got a whole bunch of ancient city things, nearly a double chest of gravel, and a whole bunch of diamonds and lapis, way too much redstone, and a whole bunch of raw ores as well. Oh, and some amethyst and flint. Okay, crafter, we're going to put a gearbox there, a shaft there, another shaft next to that, and put that there, and there we go. That's going to be a whole bunch better for us now. And now that that's fixed, and I've got a whole bunch of resources, I should probably show you how I was distracted by Throwlash and Mr. Beardstone, as we talked about draining my lake. While I was doing all of this in-between episode stuff, Throwlash came over to discuss a couple of things. So, yeah, a couple of things then. First of all, because my island's sinking, I think the smartest thing to do for me is to just drain the lake. It's the only way.
Oh, you mean like completely?
Yeah, otherwise I'm just going to keep getting wet. I mean, the rain's not helping. That's probably not helping at all.
Yeah, sure. And I don't know who put this like water, like people are just dumping water into your lake too. Yeah, so that probably, yeah.
So I thought that would help my island float, you know, more water, more buoyancy, but it doesn't appear to be that way round. So,
interesting.
Yeah, so I just think all we need to do is just completely remove any sign of water from the lake, and then my island should hopefully sort of bounce back up again to its usual level.
Sure, yeah, and then we can fill it.
Fill it
or are we
with
going to
what?
keep it? There's a lot of liquids that we could fill it with, but my first thought was water, but we could try other things too.
I don't want it to sink again. Why would we fill it? Just leave it dry
Well,
and then
I
it can't
just
sink.
figured, hey, ready for this? Ready? So here's what we do, right? We drain the whole thing,
Right.
and then we put like buoyancy stuff underneath your island.
Right, okay, yeah, like big floaty things, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
iron and lead.
Yes,
Yeah.
specifically those two things. Yes. Or just pull a beardstone and use a ton of girders and hold it
Oh,
up.
that's a good idea. We could prop it up. Yeah, once we got the water out, we'll dig underneath it as much as we can, prop it up, and then we'll fill some of the water back in. Ideally, not quite as much as this, because I would like to have my path back and a bit more farmland.
Yeah, that's fair. And actually, it's kind of hard to use your bridge at this point too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's actually further away now than it was when I had to swim before it existed. So once we'd agreed that draining the lake seemed like the smart idea, the conversation then moved on to Throwlash's IOU that he'd given to Stam. Second of all, there used to be a sign here. I don't know if you ever saw it. It said IO Union on it.
I'm vehemently interested.
Well, the thing is, it's good news for you, my friend. I have already done the deal with Stam to make all of the IOUs no longer a thing. You still retain all of your access to his stuff, but FoxyNoTail is now 100% responsible for all of the IOUs.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Listen, I would trust you with every fiber of my being.
Good.
So, yeah, I don't think this could go south for anybody whatsoever.
No. And in fact, you know, because Chosen was doing it with Jojo as well, and he's already cashed his IOU in, and he had a wonderful time with FoxyNoTail as far as I'm concerned. Well, FoxyNoTail appears to be back, and he's not damaged, so yeah, I can only assume he's had a good...
Wait.
Sorry, FoxyNoTail, didn't mean throw eggs at you.
Wait a second. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. So FoxyNoTail, now there's a chicken riding a pig.
Yeah,
FoxyNoTail,
just in case the island sinks a bit more, my favorites are at the top, and the bottom ones have to hold their breath.
Do you have names on that? I can get you name tags. Anyways, so FoxyNoTail here is currently the owner of my IOU.
Yes. And once that was concluded, the conversation came right back to the specifics of draining the lake. What are we going to do with the water? Where are we going to put it?
Interruption!
Oh, gosh.
Oh, Mr.
jeez.
Beardstone, just the man I wanted to see.
Oh, the power's okay, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's today, fingers crossed, touch wood, the power has been 100% good. But, my
This
friend,
makes me so happy.
we are talking about draining the lake because obviously my island's sinking.
Yep.
But what
Okay.
do we do with the water? I feel like we should pump it somewhere. You know, ideas
Where
for
is it?
whose base we fill up.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Like, whose basement are we flooding? That's the only question here, right?
I just think we should reverse the water paths that come down into the lake, right? So there's obviously clearly one going to Chosen's, there's one going to your workshop, there's...
He's off. He's done. He's plugged in.
Carry on.
I'm sure there was one over there, but I must have been imagining it.
No. There's never been one over there.
Yeah, one over to eggs, maybe one over to throw lash. Just pump it all back the other way.
Well, I will play no parts in these kinds of shenanigans. I was just curious as to what you were talking about, but yeah, the lake is definitely filling up. But if you're flooding people's basements,
Oh, you
that
think the
sounds-
lake's filling up, do you?
Well, it looks like it.
Oh, well, that makes more sense.
Oh, yeah, we
thought the
definitely thought
island
the
was
island was
sinking.
sinking. Yeah.
No,
Right.
the island's not. We've had this conversation, Foxy. I know you were
I
upset that your island wasn't floating as the lake was rising, but once again, that's not how islands work. That's how boats work.
I think, Mr. Beardstone, no, filling up people's bases is probably not a good idea. We should probably just void off the majority of the water. And if you could help us, seeing though you are were contributing to this mess, then yeah, just.
I'm sure I could arrange that. I mean, I've got a couple of towers and a pipe going into the lake over there, so it would seem silly not to at least make use of that a little bit.
Yes.
Oh, see, I thought they were pulling out of the lake, so it's
So
more
he's
than just
double
that.
pumping.
Yeah,
Mr.
jeepers, this
Beardstone.
guy.
No. There's no pumps. That's all just for show. There's the water.
Now, I've actually had a few ideas on what else I could do instead of draining the lake to save my island, but we'll get to that a little bit later because it was actually time for Stam to hand in his IOU. But before we get to that clip, I've decided that I'm going to replace every single one of the timers that are on all of my contraptions, basically trying to aid in the flow of items and failing miserably by the looks of things, and just use redstone links and one timer instead so that I can just set one of them and they'll all do exactly the same job. But what's the hold up here? See, we're getting all these packages here. I believe, oh, yeah, everything's trying to get crushed. My crushing wheels are just not up to scratch. I might need multiple crushers setting up in order to deal with this, because, yeah, it's just not, this is going to cause a problem, isn't it? Yes, it is. However, coming to my storage system to get the ingredients I need to make more redstone links, it turns out that all of my copper has vanished. I had absolutely tons of copper, and now all I've got is 7 copper nuggets and 759 copper sheets. You might also notice I've got 1,400 iron sheets, 412 brass sheets, and 222 gold sheets. And I really don't have much of the other stuff. And that's another problem with these factory gauges and these promises that don't seem to actually work the way I thought they did. Because I've got this system set up here to go, hey, let's turn all of our raw stuff into the crushed stuff. Let's wash all that to get the nuggets. Let's then press all those to get the ingots. And then let's just press a few of those, like 2 stacks worth, to get the sheet. But you can see I've actually got, I don't know why that's set to 8 stacks worth, it should only be on 2, but you can see I've got 11 stacks of copper sheet, when I only held it to make 8, and 23 stacks of iron sheets. which I never told it that I wanted. So yeah, there are some significant problems with this system, which I need to figure out or iron out before we get to our main base later on, because I really don't want to be wasting all of my resources on stuff that I don't need. But anyway, I think I've got probably just about enough redstone links to do all of this with, so I need somewhere that I'm going to put my little timing circuit, and I think behind that little system over there would be a good place for that. Yes, I think just this little space here is going to be perfect. We'll pop a timer there. We'll put a redstone link on the floor. This is going to have wool and timer on it. I can put that back there, and we're going to set this to 30. And now all I need to do is replace all of the timers around here with redstone links instead. So we'll pop them on the back like this. And there we go. I believe that's every single one of the packages that needs them with the redstone link, except for this one here. So let's just pop that redstone link on there, put it in receive mode. We'll have timer and wool, and now every 30 seconds all of those should ping. So let's just keep our eye on this one for a second. There we go, they all flashed, and there we go, the items have gone. Excellent. Oh good. And now the moment you've been waiting for. It's time to see how Stam got on cashing in his first IOU. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just gonna ooh.
Well, oh, that's nice. You give me an IOU. Thank you very much.
No. That's that. I want to check it in. I want to cash it in.
Oh, what's the job?
Oh, follow me.
Oh, geez. Okay.
If you just come with me here, you see this lovely little train track here.
Yeah.
And if you just peek out this way, it's sort of floating over the water over there.
What is your train track?
Yeah, the train tracks.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
Well, okay, well, we come over here then.
Right, okay, coming over here, yeah.
A little more than a little bit.
I would say that's nearly finished, to be honest with you, but yeah, okay. So what's there? What are you requiring?
I need help fixing that.
Fixing it in what sense?
I don't know, building it up, connecting it to the water, to the ground, just
making a bridge,
making sure that it's not floating anymore. No, not making a bridge, just terraforming.
Oh, you're going to fill out the land, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good. Right. Okay. Just come with me then, and I shall get you sorted. I believe FoxyNoTail is back from his previous IOU requirements. So yeah, there he is. Eager and ready to go.
You're FoxyNoTail though.
I am Fox. I'm one of the FoxyNoTails. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Why not?
Yeah. Where is he? There he is. He's up just on the top of this stack of sheep. So let's just hang on a moment. Just get it there. There we go. There he is. All set up, rearing to go. FoxyNoTail. You got another job, buddy. You enjoyed the last one, didn't you? Had a lovely time with Chosen.
What?
I don't know how good he is at building, like terraforming and stuff, but he's not very good at running or jumping, so, he's got to be good at something. So fingers crossed he's going to do a good job for you.
It's a horse.
Yeah. It's FoxyNoTail the horse. He prefers to be called Horsey, but his name clearly is FoxyNoTail. And if you'd like to just check that IOU, look at me and the horse and decide which one it's, designed for. See the difference? So there you go, bud. Enjoy. Have a lovely day with FoxyNoTail.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But
What?
I'm sure he'd be able to build a cliff.
Be very good at it. See you later.
Yeah.
Don't kill him. Look, that horse is very important to me.
Yeah.
So now we've successfully made our way through all of those distractions, it's probably a good point for me to sort out this crushing system so that we don't have this going on forever, and then we can actually get on with the things I wanted to do today. And now that I've finished editing the first part of this video, everything is, back to where it was. So I definitely need to sort these crushing wheels out, but it's just occurred to me, after editing all of the previous part of this video, that I never checked to see if Stam actually brought Horsey back, and I'm a little bit concerned that he didn't survive, so let's just check that Horsey is indeed back in here somewhere. Horsey is not. Oh dear. Does anyone know what happened to my horse? This is quite concerning because Horsey does have a lot to do and never came back. Hello, Mr. Throwlash. Have
How
you
are
seen
you?
my horse?
I know. Ooh, Stam's waiting for him to build a. Oh, he's gonna be waiting a hot minute.
Right. Okay. Well, at least that means I know where he is. So that's good. So I'm going to fly over to where I think that should be. Double check
Okay.
that Horsey is indeed safe. Apparently he's a bit slow. Yeah. Yeah. Horsey is safe. This is good news. It has not been eaten. Good. You're doing a good job, Horsey. Yes, it seems so. You've got full health. That's good. Yeah, but yeah, you haven't done a great deal of work to be. Well, actually, done a reasonable amount. Looks like it's coming together as part of the land. I think you're doing a great job, Horsey. Well done. Excellent, excellent. He's doing a great job. Well, that means I can actually crack on with fixing my base once and for all. However, that does yet again mean smashing all of this to bits. So I think what I'm going to do is just completely disconnect the power for now by breaking this block here. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put that back. And now what I'm going to do is actually add in a system so that I can turn the power on and off a lot more easily because, yeah, this seems to happen quite a lot. Speaking of things happening a lot, I have not been on for a while, and I imagine, yeah, I've got 11 tokens left of the 64 original ones Mr. Beardstone gave me, which means I'm going to have to start going on to the ones I actually paid for soon. So I faffed about a bit, putting in a system to let me turn the power on and off more conveniently before Throwlash arrived with some news.
I have some news.
Oh, don't tell me that horse is dead.
No,
I've just
goodness.
literally been to see him and he's alive.
I haven't seen your horse yet, so I have no idea the condition of your horse.
Okay, no, he's alive. I've seen him. He's working hard for Stam at the moment.
Oh, you seem to have an infestation.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Throwlash, this promise system, it's not all it's promised to be. Create 6 just doesn't work, in my opinion.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
My problem at the minute is I don't have enough crushing wheels to basically cope with all of the crushing that I need to do. So that's kind of on me.
Oh, gotcha.
But all of my ingots, all of my shinies have all been processed into sheets, even though I said I only wanted 2 stacks of sheets, and I've now got 150 stacks of iron sheet. Well, I got 23 stacks of iron sheets. I only wanted 2. So I've now got no gold at all. I've got no copper at all.
Oh my gosh.
And it keeps making them. It's ridiculous. I don't know how to stop it.
I don't mean to, like, bring you bad news when you have bad news, but your lake's too full.
I know my lake's too full, but I've got a new plan for that, Throwlash.
I can't hose pulley it down is what I'm saying.
I don't know. Don't worry about it. Don't need to.
Oh, we're good then.
Yeah. Everything is fine. In fact, if you want to carry on pumping water in here, you can, my friend, because soon my island is not going to be submerged at all. With the lake situation temporarily on hold, Throwlash and I decided to do some brainstorming on how I could fix my system. I've had to make all of my promises expire after 3 minutes because if you don't, you just get it's sent 150,000 promises, even though it should only do enough for the right amount of things. It's totally broken. I'm all flustered. Everything's going wrong. My base keeps filling up with all these stupid things, and I don't have enough crushing wheels. I got rid of my big crafter so that I could make an auto one. Now I need a bit. Oh, it's just all wrong. So the whole point of Create 6, right? This is me moaning now.
Yeah,
The whole
go
point
ahead,
of Create
moan away.
6 is that you, instead of having like a crushing wheel set up for each individual thing you need to crush, you just send the stuff you need to crush to your crushing wheels. Yeah.
And it should wait.
Yeah, but the problem is the barrel fills up. If you see here, look, the barrel's like absolutely full. So everything just ends up on the line. And this is the issue with the promises, because it should only be sending. Like, I've asked for a maximum of like 9 stacks, I think, of each one, like a top row. Yeah, 9 stacks, 9 stacks, 9 stacks, which is a barrel's worth if it was all fully backed up. But it just keeps sending more and more and more and more and more to it.
Instead of having barrels, you could do like 2 vaults, right? Vault. But again, it's just going to delay the inevitable.
Oh yeah, add more space, but then that's just going to make it just take longer to back up.
Just get as many crushing wheels as you can and use all of Beardy's power.
So that's the obvious answer, isn't it? Is to just add more crushing setups, but then that kind of defeats the whole point of Create 6.
I agree.
What I could do is I could speed the crushing wheels up, but slow down the lines to stop the items coming over so quickly. But that just means there's going to be more stuff on the lines because you can't slow down how quickly the frogs take the stuff out of the inventories.
Yes, yeah. So I was just telling Beardy, I really like these frogs a lot. They're very cute, they're very fun, but they need more.
Yeah, they need to be able to accept a lot of signals and give off a lot of signals.
Yes, absolutely yes.
After a lot more moaning and a little more brainstorming, finally we thought we'd figured out my issue.
This should be also a threshold switch.
In what sense?
So the frog will be able to read the inventory that it's sitting on top of. It should say, once it's the inventory that it's hooked up to is at a certain threshold, shut off that promise system.
So perhaps if I was to put stock links on all of these packages, then it might actually, the promise system might work.
Ooh, that's, you did it. Boom, you figured it out.
That's a lot of stock links. And
It's a lot of stock links.
They're not cheap. Do you know what, Throw? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a creative test world. I'm going to have a good old fiddle with some stock links to see if it makes any difference before I spend the next 3 hours of my life trying to manufacture all of the stock links that I'm going to need. And if that works, then when I come back, I'll fix my base again, and then I'll implement the new things.
Oh my gosh, good luck, man.
In order for me to start understanding how this promise system works, I've come over to a flat test world and I've set up this little system. Here we have a vault that has 512 cobblestone in it, and over here I've got a crusher. So here I've got 2 factory gauges. This one is showing me how much cobble we've got in the system, and this one is going to make gravel. In order to do that, we're going to send 1 piece of cobblestone to our crushers, and hopefully we're going to get 1 piece of gravel back. So now if I say that I want 1 piece of gravel, that should get this frog to take that 1 piece of cobble out. This frog is going to pick it up, send it through there, and that is going to get crushed. But here we go. Here's the gravel coming through. That's gone into there. That's come through here. And hopefully, if we look at this, you can see we have a promise. And now we don't have a promise because it's back in the system. That worked perfectly well. And considering we have no stock links set up on the receiving frog or the output frog, the promise still worked as expected. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn that off. I'm going to set this to what I've got set up in my workshop, which is 16 at a time. And now I'm going to say that I want 9 stacks of this. If I look at this now, we can see it's actually promised 32, 48 gravel. So that's how many of the gravel items it's sent and is expecting back. If we look in the system, you can see we've had 17 gravel back, and the promises are coming down as they're received, and then it sends more in order to get more. So in single player, this is working exactly how I expected it to. So do you know what? I'm actually going to put this onto 3 stacks instead, because we've got enough for 3 stacks in there. We've got 48 gravel, 32 gravel promised. It's got a little bit more coming back that's been promised. Here we go. And by the time this one gets back, that promise should be back down to 0. And we should see that we've got exactly 3 stacks in there. That's exactly what should be happening in my workshop, but it's not. So what if I did take a stock link that is tuned to my network, pop one on here, pop another one on this one over there? Will that make any difference to our little system? If I now ask for 4 stacks of those, it should now send another 4 packages containing 16 of each. But how's the promise going to be affected? The promises are going up, and then it went down, even though they're not actually in the store. So they're going down as soon as the gravel is processed. But because there is a stock link now on here, they're not actually coming back because that barrel is now considered part of our storage system. So I really don't understand what's happening on the server. So before I go back to the server, I'm actually going to go to a single player download of our world, which I took just this morning before Throwlash and I actually started fiddling with everything. And I'm going to see if I can get this working on a single player version of our multiplayer world. Okay, the crushing system is currently clear. There is nothing going through it at all. That means we can actually start to set a promise on here. So we've got some cobblestone in there. I'm going to say that we want 4 stacks of gravel in the system, and that's going to start sending 16 at a time, as you can see by the promise there. Now, is it actually going to get crushed and then come back and get rid of the promise? Let's find out. That's gone into the system there. It's getting crushed. The frog is sending it back now. It's going back to the storage system. So let's see if that promise changes. We're on 48 and it went down to 32. So that's working. And it has reached the 4 out of 4. We're back to no open promises, which means it shouldn't be sending any more cobble over to the crushing wheels. And if we look at the crushing wheels, they shouldn't have any more backed up. They don't. So again, that works exactly as expected. So why doesn't it work on the server? So realistically then, there's only one thing to do, and that is to go back to the server, reset everything, fix everything, and hopefully we can get this thing starting from scratch and actually working. And I'm starting to wonder, I wonder if this is a chunk loading issue, because obviously when I'm not in the area, people are flying by, loading it a bit, unloading it a bit, and I wonder if that's affecting our promises. So yeah, it's clean up and tidy up time, and time to turn all of these to inactive. Oh geez, none. Ah, oh dear. So about a day has gone past since my last clip, and in that time I've done a few things, mainly sorting out all of my systems, which you can see are now not clogged up with tons of items. I've reset all of my factory gauges to actually produce what I want to be produced, and I've even added in a brand new system to generate granite, to generate red sand, to generate gold, because I found a few issues, which we'll get to in a minute. The other thing I've done is added in a big old crafter down there that I use to generate some more crushing wheels, but I haven't actually added any more crushing wheels in because I don't need them. As it turns out, since I reset everything, there isn't actually too much stuff going through the system, clogging up the system, because I decided that when I'm not in game, I'm going to turn everything off. I'm going to turn my power off when I leave for the night and then come back the next day and turn it back on again. However, there are problems with that as well, because while I can turn the power off, I can't stop the frogs from taking the items out of storage and putting them on the belt, which means that while they're doing that, they're actually generating promises which don't get fulfilled. And that does become a bit of a problem, because now, yeah, the server gets reset and restarted, those promises get all confused, and that's where we're going to end up with issues. The issue with the gold, so before, if you remember, we were making gold from washing the soul sand, and we only got a 2% chance of doing that. Whereas milling down granite into red sand and then washing the red sand actually gives us a 12% chance of getting 3 gold nuggets. So you get a bit more gold back. And I wanted to double that up. I wanted to wash some soul sand as well so we could get more gold, but that's where the problem lies. As I'll now attempt to demonstrate, if I pop my factory gauge on there, set that to gold nuggets, link that to our soul sand and tell it if I wash one of those, I might get one back, you can see that's got some promises. But those promises are identical to the promises on these ones. If there are 2 there, there are always 2 there. So when the system's saying, hey, I want gold nuggets, these 2 things are basically confusing each other, because they're both, even though they're linked to different things, they have the same amount of promises sent out, and they're not going to be able to receive them because some of that's going to be soul sand and some of it's going to be red sand. So we can only have 1 factory gauge per item per storage system, it seems. And therefore, on the back of here, where we're washing our crushed gold into gold nuggets and then turning that into ingots, you can see I've actually had to turn off how many we want from that, because again, it gets very confused having the same amount of promises for 2 completely different processes. So today I've learned a whole lot about frog systems and frog promises, and I've learned how to keep my base from overflowing, and that is basically to make sure it's not running while I'm not here. Because what happens is someone like Jojo, which is over in his base over there, is probably loading my frogs here, which are then sending items out to the storage system. But because they can't find where to go because these frogs are not loaded, they just end up stuck on the line, and more and more and more get put on the line, which means that the lines clog up, and when I log back in, everything's jammed, which is fantastic.